Hey everybody, welcome to another Like a Ninja live stream. Oh, right, I'm supposed to welcome everybody by saying hello, my fellow ninjas. I'm Jonathan Crow, I'm Director of Community. A lot of you probably know me, but also these two guys that I have with me right now. Always appreciated that they're taking their time away from being super busy. Everyone here who's going to be dialing in, eager to see the new features and everything. You have requests, always have requests for when is another thing coming. Well, Luke is very nice to me. You can blame me for taking Luke's time away from product development. Luke is one of the product leads here at NinjaOne, and he's focused on working on, gosh, Luke, ticketing, documentation, API stuff, anything else?
Some integration stuff, PSA, asset management, all the cool ITSM things.
It's amazing what you do. Your background, obviously, you're here building tools based on awesome feedback that we get from everybody in the Discord. Thank you, everybody, for that. Also, you're getting to build like the tool that you kind of wish you had, or that you know that you would need from your background as an MSP. But Luke, thank you so much for taking time again. And then we also have Jeff Hunter, who is our field CTO. Jeff was a sales engineer who was a rock star. Was using Ninja like every waking moment, probably dreaming of Ninja. Maybe you still do. And now his time is spent more doing things like this, doing the streams, doing our webinars, the product, the monthly Ninja office hours, and pretty much all of the product webinars too. You stay busy. But Jeff, thanks for having you.
Pleasure to be here back in Discord. So yeah, thank you very much for having me.
And I appreciate both of you coming back after our May the 4th Star Wars event. Luke, I'm especially glad that you decided to show up again after your defeat to the hands of Jeff. For those of you who missed that, we had a speed run where we had 3 different challenges, I think. And both you guys were good sports about it. You guys went head to head as members of the Rebel Alliance and the dark side of the Empire. And Jeff took that pretty handily. So Luke, I know you mentioned that you were a little hesitant to come back on, but now you get to come back and get revenge.
We'll see.
Spoken like a true... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say Luke has all the advantage this time. He's got some very cool things to show off. So I'm personally excited to see what Luke is going to show us today. So
and look at this. One. He can also share a little bit about his lessons learned from married life.
Apparently, I have like ring contact dermatitis, so that sucks.
Amanda, awesome to see you. Awesome to see everybody here. Charles, great. Chris, of course. Mike, oh man, awesome names here in the chat. Please jump in. So what we're covering today, as a lot of you know already, we just had a new big release. 5.9 was a staggered release. We don't release things all at once, and certainly not on a Friday. We stagger things a little bit. And so some of you in Canada and in the Oceania, you got things first, followed by EMEA, and then North America. So it's still relatively new for a lot of folks. And we wanted to take advantage of the time that Jeff and Luke are providing, graciously offering, to highlight a few of the new things. So we've got, of course, anytime we have a new release, we've got our blog posts. We typically have streams and webinars where we highlight big new things. MDM has been a huge one that we focused on. But there's lots of stuff that gets added in, and a lot of things that maybe aren't necessarily like marquee features that are really made from the results of requests that you guys have submitted from via product board. In some cases, they've been there for a while and we've delivered, or they're things that are like quality of life improvements, new enhancements that may not get the biggest spotlight from like blog and PR perspective, but we know make a big deal for you all. So we asked Luke and we asked Jeff, hey, what do you think are some of the biggest enhancements from 5.9 that people shouldn't miss, that they should be definitely aware of? And we ask you all to share that with everyone here. So that's what we're doing. Let's see. Who is going to go first? And I should mention before we start, we couldn't resist the opportunity to make it somehow into another competition between you two. We want you all to vote. We're gonna Robin's in the background here. She's built a poll, and we want you to decide. Okay, these are the new enhancements and features that Luke and Jeff decided these are the most impactful for you in 5.9. We want to see which one you all are most excited about. Who do you agree with? So thanks, Robin, for flashing that. We'll continue to flash that link to the poll throughout the chat or throughout the stream here. But with all that said, I don't think we decide. Do we decide who's going to go first? Do we do like rock paper scissors or something?
All right, let's go, Luke. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, Luke wins.
Oh, Luke. Oh, the revenge is coming already. So you're up first, Luke. What would you like to share first? When you were developing 5.9, these are the things that you're most excited about. What do you got first for us?
So 5.9 is a massive release for documentation. So I'm going to show off a few different bits that we've introduced with that. First thing I would like to chat through is the improvements we made to knowledge base articles in our knowledge base. Don't know, are you sharing my screen yet? Probably not. There we go. No.
Oh, sorry. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. There we are.
Hey, there we go. Cool.
Yeah,
So yeah, we've done a bunch of tweaks to knowledge base articles to really get them up to like a top-notch standard now. So the first thing we've introduced is the ability to search for any documentation items just in the global search by name. If you want to dive in a bit deeper and actually look in the content of articles, we've introduced the search at this level. So you can do a search for some text or whatever you want in an article, hover over it and you'll see where it is. Just to really make it a lot easier to get your fingers on the documentation that you need when you need it. So the next thing we've done for them is we've introduced a whole new UI for KB articles. So we made it dynamic. So we shrink the size of it to make it a bit easier for people to read by default, but you can expand it back up to the full width if you want. We've introduced a whole load of new elements with the new editor. I'll show you that in a second. But basically it just makes it a lot easier to create KB articles when you're working on them. The next thing we've introduced, if we go back to this one, so we've introduced the ability to have different versions of documents now as well. So if we go into the version history, we can swap back to previous versions, see what they were, restore them if we wanted, or just have a quick look and go back. We've still got all the ability to do like public sharing links, so you can create a link, set how long you want to expire, so have a permanent link or just have it expire after like 5 views or something if you just want to show out something temporarily. And then we've added in a brand new WYSIWYG editor. So let me go back to the other document quickly. Yeah, so in this brand new editor, we basically got a whole new load of features. Copying and pasting from like Word works a whole load better. We've got a whole load of different options that you can do with like around like the styling and the formatting. Decent code blocks and syntax highlighting now. And yeah, along with that, we've also then added in local caching. So one thing that always drives me crazy is like you're working on a long document, you've been working on it for hours, you made a load of changes and then your browser will crash or something will happen and it doesn't get saved. So what we're doing is we're storing every change that you make to a document now in your local browser cache. You can see here that it's saved each time you do an update. So it means if anything does go wrong, you can just when you go back to the page, it'll all be there. Same thing happens when you're making a new document, that'll all be saved there as well as when you're editing. And then the last thing I want to show you is we've introduced the ability to share out KB articles to end users. So in the end user portal, as well as using the public share links, you've now got the ability to like have a curated knowledge base that people can reference before logging a ticket. So how we've done that is we've got the ability, if you come to a folder, you can go to share options and you can pick which end user roles you'd like to share to. So if we share it with this role and submit it, we can then go into the end user portal. And if we refresh it, we can now see that we got that folder shared. So if you notice, there was a tick box. This was saying essentially exclude the parent folder. So it's just going to show the content. So you can put in like a welcome root document. You can put in some like troubleshooting guides, all that kind of thing. We've got plans to link it more into ticketing in the future. And then, yeah, so the last thing I'll show you quickly is in the share settings. If we don't display without a folder, it's just going to show that whole folder. Let me come back there, refresh that, go back home. So yeah, so now it's going to show that just in the folder instead of just the contents of the folder. So you can choose to, if you want some documents at the root level, you can have your primary ones, but then you can also choose to have whatever specific ones for specific different end users in subfolders. And you're essentially just showing up the whole tree. And yeah, that's the core of the new updates we've done for knowledge base articles.
Very nice. Can we hear you say what type of editor that was one more time?
A WYSIWYG editor. So it stands for what you see is what you get. It basically makes HTML in the background with an easy editor.
I forget that I don't think you guys can see the comics this time around. So I just wanted to bring up this one. This is why I asked you to say that. Very nice, Luke. Thank you for sharing that. Before we go on to the next one, just to clarify, so we have how many features do you have to show? I think we agreed on kind of like ping-ponging back and forth between you two. Is that how we're going to do it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to do 3 features apiece.
Great. Okay, cool. So that was the first one. Luke, was that like your top one, or are you saving it? Like, I'm interested in your strategy here.
I've got some cool stuff to show. Like some of them, some of them are smaller things, but they're pretty cool what you can do with them.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So Jeff, we'll turn it over to you. And yeah, we can take it away. So is this, let's see here. Let's make sure that your screen is on. Whoop. There we go. Is that the screen that you would like to show?
Yes, it is.
All right. Fantastic. I and Luke will go away and you can take it away, sir.
Thank you very much. And my first feature is NinjaOne Remote for MDM devices. I've actually been working on the MDM project for quite some time. I can remember when it was a very, very early alpha and what functionality was possible. And so it was very, very exciting for me to see remote access finally being brought into the product with 5.9. 5.9 was kind of the big coming out party for NinjaOne MDM. It had been in a beta state for a long time and then commercially supported. And 5.9 was the coming out party. It's officially generally available for everyone. I know that there was one disappointing fact at the initial launch of 5.9 for MSPs, which was that we didn't quite have the ability to integrate multiple Apple Business Manager tokens, multiple APN connections, multiple VPP or apps and books tokens, and plus Android Enterprise. You could only integrate a single one. And the good news is, and this is something I mentioned on Partner Office Hours last week, the good news is that that limitation is going away. We are bringing out multiple connections for MDM to your various entities, ABM and Android Enterprise. And that's going to be with not the 5.9 release, the 5.9.1 release. The good news is that should roll out in the first week of August. My understanding is that globally by the Ides of March, the middle of March, everyone should have this ability. We're actually doing it a bit of an inverted way compared to how releases typically work. Everyone should get it first globally, including the US. Currently, we're slated for August 7th. That is, of course, a date that is subject to change, but we certainly hope it doesn't. And then everyone plus the US should get it on August 7th. And then I believe we're aiming for August 14th for the EU. So a little bit different from how our typical release cadences work, but hopefully, if we talk about MDM in the future past the middle of August, we're in a world where everyone, internal IT and MSP, can use the MDM software and have that ability to make those multiple connections. So very excited for that one. However, I will show you my actual favorite feature from 5.9, which was Ninja Remote for MDM devices. Now, this is a little different from how control typically works on your workstations and on your servers. On those devices, we can both view and then also control the endpoint. And currently today on Android and iOS, we can view, but there's no actual control. There's no clicking. you do have to rely on the end user and communicating with them to navigate them around the device so that you can see what you need to see as the person who's on the help desk who's trying to help them troubleshoot a particular scenario. So we'll go ahead and try to make that connection. You'll see here in the global search bar, we have my tablet right here. I'm probably going to take me a while to get over the fact of seeing mobile devices in the same environment with Windows devices, Mac OS, with Linux devices. I just think that's a huge selling point is having that visibility in a single pane, which for me personally is wild because I remember when this was 4 different portals to kind of manage all the devices that I needed to manage. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, although it probably was at least 5 years ago. In any case, we can navigate directly to the device we want to talk to. In this case, my tablet. This is my Android tablet. And the view here is very similar to what you are probably typically used to inside of Ninja. We can go ahead and take actions like locking the device, clearing the passcode, rebooting it, even erasing it entirely. However, we can also initiate a NinjaOne remote session. And so if I click on that there, it's going to send a push notification to my device. I'm not sure if my microphone got the ambient noise out, but there was a notification that I heard on this tablet. I'm holding it upside down. Perfect. And then from there, I get a push notification that says a technician is requesting access to your device. I've accepted that prompt, and you can see on my screen here, it's saying, hey, we want to initiate Ninja Remote. On this screen here, you can see, hopefully, there's a start broadcast button. I am hitting that there and then saying, yes, I want to start broadcasting using NinjaOne Assist. And you can see here, now I'm able to view the screen. Now, I can click, nothing's happening. I'm not able to actually control the device. Just as a note for future roadmap options, there is a path towards controlling Android devices. So we do expect that in the future, you will be able to click on an Android device in the same way that you could with a Windows device. However, currently my understanding is that on iOS, there is no path to control. MDM works by having the developers actually create the API endpoints that allow you to manage the device. And so they are in firm control over what can be done on that device. Here we go. I'll go back in here, navigate around a little bit. So hopefully you can see what we can see here on the screen. I've opened up Google Chrome, going to the NinjaOne website here, just to kind of give you an idea of what you can do and see here. Now, one thing that I am a fan of is that you can actually see the camera as well. So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and switch over to the camera and actually see that being broadcast back to me. So this is good not just for your typical digital troubleshooting solutions. You need to try and do something on the actual device, try to solve a problem on the device. It also has a secondary use of them being able to show you what is in their environment around you, their analog environment around you. So I think that's also a good part of the troubleshooting step. You might not necessarily have the ability to FaceTime with somebody or use some sort of screen share tool. And so it's nice to have that built into the remote product directly. If they need to show you something physical in their environment, cable it. Where is something? Where's a power button? I wish I would have had something like this back in the day for sure. So this is, I think, a tremendously useful tool in your arsenal now. Yeah, I think that's everything I have to show on NinjaOne Remote. As a side note here, everybody should have access to this. So if you go into your organization settings, you'll actually see this in place right here. I am seeing a bit of a bug, just in case anybody sees this webinar and instantly wants to go try NinjaOne Remote for MDM devices. I'm seeing an issue where you can't save initially because these are pre-checked. I would recommend just unchecking, saving, and then rechecking and then hitting save again if you do see that bug. I'm hopeful that that will be fixed in the 5.9.1 release. But just as a note here, if you are trying to save the organization here and it's not quite working, I would recommend unchecking, rechecking, unchecking, saving, rechecking, and then saving. And at that point, you should be able to save. Apologies for that bug. Hopefully we get that fixed soon.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. One more time, can you give me the suggestions for what to do there, the checking and unchecking?
I would recommend, if you're going to your organization settings and you're unable to save, I think is the bug that we're seeing here. You're trying to hit the save button and it's either just not saving or giving you an error message. we would recommend unchecking the Apple and Android remote access options, saving, and then rechecking them and saving again.
Okay, thanks for that. All right, so yeah, Robin called this out. We probably jumped the gun, and I did not do a good job explaining our poll here. But hey, results are in still. Luke, you got one. You got one.
At last.
So
at least one torpedo in the Death Star.
Amanda did make a comment that you may or may not have seen, saying she heard that you were promising hand-drawn notes, I think, to anyone who votes for your features. So a little bit of bribery. That's cool. But yeah, so awesome to see that you all watching this stream are excited about the knowledge base articles improvements. Also, hey, Jeff, don't feel too bad. Ninja Remote for MDM still getting a lot of good love here too. Okay, so for this,
I gotta say, I have to call out David's joke here, which is I'm connecting Ninja to you instead of NinjaOne. So I did like that.
Oh yes. Is it too late? Maybe it's not too late. Oh my, look at this. We have Gavin.
Wow.
Oh, Gavin, that's how he's showing love for you, Luke. All right, so thank you all for voting. Here's what we're gonna do. So for the next one, just for clarification, both these guys have 2 more features they want to share with you from 5.9. These are things that you definitely don't want to miss, that you want to take advantage of, that they see as like, hey, these can make a really cool difference for you guys right away. So they're going to do that. We're going to go back to Luke. He's going to share his. We're not going to put the polling QR code up until both of them are presented, to be fair. But that said, Luke is officially on the board with one winning feature. So Luke, what do you have next for us?
Cool. So the next thing, this is like quite a small change we made, but is pretty powerful what you can do with it. So over the last few releases, we've been slowly like improving what you can do with the what you see is what you get fields. Like when you're setting them via the API or via CLI. So we let people basically from scripts generate their own HTML. We give people some classes, we give them like font awesome, and we give them like bootstrap grid to try and lay them out. So if you've seen our SIP integration, that's using that. What we've done for this next release is we've included a new library, which is a thing called Chart CSS, which lets you basically produce graphs entirely just from HTML and then using the CSS library. So it's pretty simple. You can do like make some nice bar charts, make a whole load of different ones. Let me bring up an example. So on here's a whole load of different the different kind of graphs that you can do. It's pretty simple to do. It's like a really nice, easy framework. You just do like for each point, you just add a new row or a new column to an HTML table. But to show this off, I was messing around and I've got a script that I can show you that I'll share after this, where you can start to have, it's basically 2 scripts. One of them is going to run on a device, track your CPU, your memory use, and your disk usage every 5 minutes. Then another script is going to once an hour take all that data, aggregate it, and then generate actual graphs and custom fields. So what you end up with is being able to get a 24-hour history of exactly what's been going on in the machine. So you can hop into a point of time, say, okay, there's a spike here. What is exactly happening? What time was it? Look into what's going on. But then what I'm also doing is then aggregating the data over 30 days. So you can see over the last month what's been going on. And then I'll also do it over 90 days to that 30 days to give you a longer period of time, just so you can really dig in and see exactly what's been happening on a device. So if anyone does want to play with that, if you go to my blog, docs.mspp.io, and just under NinjaOne, it's the performance graphs one there. So you basically set up one script to run every 5 minutes, set up 3 custom fields, and then set up another script to run once an hour to update those graphs. And yeah, that's about it. So it's really unlocking the ability to do any kind of graphs you want inside Ninja. Like this is just the tip of the iceberg of what's possible. I want to extend all the like redo some bits in the SIP integration to leverage this as well. It's available across knowledge base articles, custom fields, and apps and service documents. So yeah, that's that one.
That's awesome. I'm a visual person. It looks so pretty. Luke, I just want to make sure you mentioned it was on your blog. And okay, let me just make sure I've got the right spot. Are you at mspp.io again?
I'll chuck it inside the chat for you. They don't let us chat to the actual YouTuber anywhere, so.
All right, yeah, no, absolutely. I'll we can grab the link for you too. But that's awesome. Just FYI.
So yeah,
oh, go ahead.
I'm going to post it back on the dojo and on the Discord as well. I only got it finished off this morning, so I wanted a few people to test it before I share it more widely. So you guys can be my beta testers.
Yes, I love it. I was going to mention that you were not only kind of spend some time right now being live, but also you were building things like all last night and this morning. So thank you. This is really cool. Okay. Oh, look at this. Chris Thomas, the original Chris Thomas, not the other one. He says, Jeff's got got your work cut out for you here, Jeff. So what do you have to show that goes up against this update?
Well, this is going to be a tough fight. I saw Amanda said that Luke could have showed us a button that does nothing, and they'd still be voting for him. So either people really like Luke, or they really hate me. I gotta say.
Don't let that bother you, Jeff. Just use it. That's your motivation.
That's right. And so I was the Empire when we did this last time, and so I got to stay true to my roots here. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. So I am actually going to use an open beta feature. I'm fighting back. See if this is going to be super effective. I am going to be showing off our new beta for image backup. Now, this is a massive enhancement to image backup. I would encourage you to think of it as essentially a reimagining of how image backup in Ninja really works. So we'll go to the administration section down here, and then we'll go into our policies. It still lives here inside of the policy section. And if we go in here and then go to backups on the left-hand side, you'll see that this looks a little bit different. We have our file and folder. That hasn't changed. We have our legacy backups. That is the old image backups. So anything that you've thought of as image backup up until this very point, or 5.9 at least, that is the legacy backup now. And so you'll see that terminology legacy to refer to the old style of image backup. Now, the image backup that we see here, this is the new method. And this is introducing a lot of things that we've had brought to us as feature requests over the years. For starters, dramatically improved retention options. You can see here that this open beta today is only going to support cloud-only backups, but we'll be rolling out both local and hybrid backups over the course of the rest of this year. We can see our scheduling options here, daily, weekly, and monthly. We do intend to add an hourly option to this as well. And this is something that was, again, highly requested and something we can really only bring to the product because we've made under the hood enhancements that improve the performance of backups, image backups overall. Now, this is where it gets really cool, which is that I can include a variety of different retention options. Maybe I want to keep my cloud backups for at least 3 months here, and then I want to retain weekly backups for maybe an additional 8 weeks. And you can see here monthly until the 3-month limit is reached. So I'll have weekly backups for 2 months, and then I'll have a month's worth of backups beyond that. And if I change this here to say 6 months, I have weekly backups for my first 8 weeks. And then after my first 8 weeks, I am going to have a monthly backup, at least one monthly backup until my 6-month overall limit is reached. Now, the great thing about this introduces deduplication or chainless backup. Essentially, the previous iteration of image backup was reliant on deltas. You had to have the original full backup, and then, if you had, let's say, 5 revisions of that afterwards, and you wanted to restore to the most recent revision, you needed all of that in order to have a successful backup. That goes away with the new image beta that we see here. It gives us a synthetic image so that we don't have to go and have all of those individual fulls in addition to the delta revisions. And this has the effect of conserving a lot of space in comparison to our older method. And you can see, we'll actually dive into, take a look at the backups, and hopefully you'll be able to actually see the difference in between the older legacy style backups and the new beta and how that's able to conserve storage. Just a few other policy options here. Nothing much is really changing here. Exclusions, power options to try and wake up the device or keep it online so a backup can complete, and then our pre-planned automations that we see here. And the goal is that you don't need to have multiple plans. We know with our legacy backups that you had to, or you had at least had the option to create multiple plans. The idea with the new image beta is that everything you need is right here. The improved retention options, the deduplication, the chainless nature of the backups, the need to have those separate plans goes away, and you can have one plan per policy. So let's go ahead and dive out of the policy section and actually go look at a device and see the difference between the new image backup and then the legacy image backup. Go in here and look at our usage. We can see here this AD server here has image, file, and folder, and legacy backups. We can see that these have completed relatively recently, today at 5 a.m. So let's go ahead and select the box there and then manage our backups. And we can see everything in here that is either being backed up currently or has been backed up previously, and we're still retaining that data. And so we have our default plan here. This would be our legacy backup. We can click in and see what our storage has looked like here inside of our C drive, for example. And we can see here the data that's scanned and then the actual data that's been stored. And you can see here the method varies between a full backup, which is the entire disk, and then the incremental backup, which is just the delta of what's changed since that last full backup. Now, if we back out of here and look at our new backup, the image backup plan, that's one thing to note here is that there are no names of policies. There are no names of backup plans as there were previously, because you only have the one image backup plan. It's one-stop shopping. It's all inside of this one plan here. And we can click in here, view our C drive here, and then see that we have our data scanned and our data stored here. These are all independent of each other. There's no reliance on previous backups, and you can use the retention so that you have the exact number of copies in the exact cadence of what you would need in order to help your customers and help your end users get restored and back up and running. The restore process is identical. Nothing changes to the restore process. What has changed is just the setup of the image backup plan inside of policies and then under the hood enhancements to make it faster and to conserve more storage. I'm done, Jonathan.
Just waiting to make sure. Jeff, that was great. And I gotta tell you, you brought it. I like how, so, say what you will about capitalism and our march into the, a hellscape and everything. Competition seems to be a good thing here. We got Luke, creating awesome demos in the morning and at night. We've got you showing off awesome beta features. So I kind of like what this competition's doing. Hopefully everyone watching does too. So one thing I just wanted to call out before we go on to before we do the voting, Mort, hey Mort, had a question that I just wanted to see if you guys could clarify. Believes groups showing up in the global search is new with 5.9. Is that accurate?
I don't think so. I think that the global search was revamped around the beginning of the year, so maybe 5.6 or 5.7. And it was reworked to be keyboard accessible, so you can hit the / on your keyboard and it will just jump up to the global search bar there. It gives you these individual filters here, and I'm fairly certain these have been in there since then. So I think that's a 5.6 or a 5.7 release.
Yeah, so I think the only thing we've added recently was the documentation, KB articles, checklists, and apps and service documents. That's what we added in 5.9. But everything else I think was there since we redid it.
Okay. Oh, look at this. Okay, so the poll is open. Oh, we need that QR code again. Let's see.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. you can vote for Luke on this one. That is extremely cool. So I gotta throw in the towel here.
I gotta say, I don't know that you want to. I don't think Luke. What's your pity there? Or maybe I'm speaking for him. Maybe he does. Let's see. Okay, let me pull up the. Bear with me. There we go. Robin was sick of waiting for me to figure it out. Thank you, Robin. All right. Yeah, everyone's in the chat is psyched to vote. Let's see what the results are gonna be. We have a little bit of maybe showing us what's gonna happen here. A little hint. Chris saying, "Oh, no changes to restore." There's the magic words. Oh man, I mean, this is basically the same exact split, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
it is the same exact split.
This poll is actually just fake. It's like we're in. Oh wait, okay. Well, it shows you there's probably not a ton of people voting here. You have the power, folks. Your votes are making drastic fluctuations. Oh, this is great. This is like the election night. Oh no, what happened?
Robin, the Venmo is in the mail.
Yeah. This is like going to the election night results. And so I don't know what the last number there was. Let's
I think maybe the poll, I think we might need to redo the poll.
Oh, do we have to redo it? Let's see. Oh, was it the wrong one?
I think so, maybe. That's good. We're stopping the voting. Martial law. Democracy is suspended.
Oh no. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's give it another minute here. We do have quite a few scans coming in. Now it's paused. It was back for 20 seconds and now it's gone. Oh, it's there again. Thank you, Robin. Okay.
Okay, we can stop it now. It's all good.
Second pity vote. Keep it going.
All right, folks. Okay. So let's try again. Yeah, democracy in action. It's flawless. We'll give this another minute here, but looks like Luke is quite far ahead. 5-2.
Stop the fight. He's already dead.
I like how there's like a little bit of lag with Rishim too. So we're kind of seeing the future right here. And as we're making these comments, things could change. Oh, dark mode. Yeah, Michael is giving us some grief about dark mode again. Ooh, it's creeping back up. You know what? I do think we need to I think we need to move on. I think it's best to save this nation. There we go. Okay.
Answer one quick question here that I see from Iron Logics. Any plan to include M365 backup? I can't say anything quite yet. Keep your ear to the ground. We will have news on this in the relative near term.
Wow. Tantalizing. Okay. Oh, look at that. It's pretty decisive now. So Luke, wow, you are 2 for 2, my friend. That means this next one, the third and final feature, is going to be mostly for Pride. But I'm curious to see whether you both save the best for last. So Luke, let's go back over to you. What do you got?
Cool. So always when working with documentation tools like ITGlue and Hoodoo in the past, when we work on them, there's that horrible time when it's down. You need to desperately access your documentation, but you can't get into it. So what we've been doing in documentation in Ninja is we've been working slowly over probably the last year, just adding in every API endpoint we possibly could to really let you just be able to interactively work with documentation. So we're now at a point where you can pretty much access everything in documentation, and you can also create everything in documentation. So just to show off the API on this side, I built another tool. This one's not quite finished yet. I'm hoping it'll probably get it finished over the weekend and then release it. But I basically built a tool to let you take a full export and a backup of your NinjaOne documentation, to be able to access everything offline. So just in case for some reason you can't get to Ninja, you can still have an offline copy of your data. So how that works is essentially we're going to create a folder system of all the data from Ninja. Take things like your apps and services documents, we'll export them to CSV so you can get those easily. Any KB articles, we'll download them into the same folder structure so you can easily find those. Any attachments you've added as related items or in the knowledge base, download those as well. So you've got access to absolutely everything. And then just to also keep everything backed up as a JSON, so you've got the raw data if you ever need to restore anything or re-import things. But then to make it a bit easier to access everything, also generating like a little offline front end UI for it. So you have to do things like this. So let's have a look at this one. So giving you a simple way to access, say, like all your global KB articles. So you can come in here. This was some things we were looking at earlier. Access those. Be able to then also look at your organization level ones. So drill into any org documents, and then also access any of your apps and services documents. So if you come in here and have a look at this one, you've then got access to all of those. On top of that, we're also downloading all the images that are embedded, so you can still see all the images. Also giving you a little search. So if you did want to, if you do need to find something, you can just search by title to find all the articles which match over it. So come here, and then also exporting out any of the related items. So you can come in here, link to any of the other documents, link to any of the files that are attached as related items. And then the last thing is also then exporting any of your passwords. So passwords, just going to export them with AES-256 encryption, let you set a central key. So you're going to lose your like the role-based access kind of things, but you will be able to have a master key to get to passwords. So you can come in here, decrypt the password just as you would in Ninja and hide it, and then it's all just secured with AES-256. So the goal is here is just let you have a script which you can run in Ninja, back up all of your documentation to like a network share where you can then put in any access controls you want around it to make sure only like your senior engineers get it. And then again, just have a password, a central password, which is the encryption key to access any of the passwords in it. So yes, I'm hoping to get this out fairly soon.
Nice. Thank you, Luke. And so for more context there too, I mean, are we thinking along the lines in a disaster recovery situation, you don't have access to Ninja, and whoops, that's where a lot of important information is. And so it's really built to build in some redundancy there and to help people out in that kind of situation. Is that right?
Exactly. It's just to give people that level of comfort that, well, if anything does ever happen to Ninja, we've got a backup for all our documentation. It's like not a risk to have all our documentation in Ninja because it's super easy to get all of that out as we need it. And then you can just use Ninja to automate a backup daily if you wanted to just update it. So you've always got the latest version. That's the kind of goal with this. Next version, we're introducing things like runbooks where you'll be able to export everything to PDF if you want as well, just to have like an easy shareable hard copy of it. The other side of the API things we've done, it's not just the fetching that we've added in, it's also the creation of everything. So I'm looking to also then build like a restore tool. So you'll be able to take a snapshot at a point in time, something you mess up something in documentation, you'll be able to restore it all, or look at moving from other tools if you wanted via the API.
Awesome. Oh, yep. And as Amanda says here, yeah, always a concern, right? Having all your eggs in a basket. And so very cool that you're already obviously thinking about that and giving people good options there. So I wanted to, before we turn to Jeff for his big finale, Julius, you asked about backup. Do you have NFR for testing? Possibly, but what I would suggest is if you know who your account manager is, reach out to them. They'll be more than happy to walk you through things, and I'm sure they can set things up to where you're able to give things a shot. So if you don't know who your account manager is, if you're in Discord, you can reach out, or also with your name, we can look you up and follow up that way. But hopefully you do, and you like your account manager and your buddies, and you can get access that way. All right. So let's see. Oh, wait. one other question from Amanda for you, Luke. Can you omit certain parts as well, like in a checklist form?
Yeah, I can add that in. I've just done a basic one which just dumps everything at the moment. Checklists in particular that's the last bit of the API we haven't got yet. So we're not doing checklists yet, but we've added those API endpoints in 6.0. So I'll update the script for checklists as soon as 6.0 is out. But I'll also put in some options to say, well, I only want to export these orgs or this specific type of things. It'll be an open source script, so it'll be easy to tweak to exactly what people want, and get some examples of how you can work with every object across the API.
Amazing. You're a wizard, my friend. All right, so Jeff, bring us home. You've got one more feature that you're going to show, and then we're going to have our final vote. So let's bring up your screen here.
Thank you. And I haven't given up. I'm going to cheat harder, and I'm actually going to show 3 beta features this time and see if that helps. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall at this point. I did have to shout out Robert's excellent JSON Derulo joke. So yes, I know I don't think we put that up, but yes, that was an excellent joke, Robert. So we're going to go ahead and cover 3 different beta features. One is the WinGet beta. We're also going to talk about the vulnerability import. And then we'll also show off something that's technically in a closed beta, but pretty much anybody can get access to it as long as you reach out to your account manager, and that would be warranty tracking. So we'll go ahead and start with the WinGet beta. That is going to be in a very familiar spot. It's going to be inside of policies. And then over on the software tab. We've tried to keep the experience identical, essentially, to what you're used to with third-party patching. You can see the general options here have not changed. What has changed in recent releases is the addition of a source. Now, for a couple releases, it only said NinjaOne, it didn't say WinGet. But now with the open beta for WinGet enabled, I have access to all the applications inside of WinGet. Keep in mind that since this is a beta, there are some limitations. There are some newer applications in WinGet that haven't been synced over to NinjaOne quite yet, but we do have plans to make that a more automated process, so it won't be a limitation at GA. But if we switch this over to the WinGet source here, you can see that we have a little over 5,500 applications. This is a huge improvement over what we previously offered. If you look at our NinjaOne source right here, well, I guess they're already added into the library there, so you won't see them. But in this case, we have all these applications through WinGet that haven't been added in yet. It's about 115 applications. So this is, again, just a very easy to use. It's very in line with the existing third-party patching. And we can see in demo environment that I'm in that we're capturing a lot more applications and seeing a lot more pending patches that need to be approved before being pushed to endpoints. We go to our patching approval dashboard right here. We can see everything that's pending. And you'll also see the version here. This is a nice little enhancement as well, I think, and having a better column dedicated to the version, which I don't think we had previously. And we can see the platform as well. Obviously, WinGet is going to be restricted to just Windows workstations, so I should mention that as a limitation. This won't impact or improve your patching on servers or on Mac OS devices. But you still have the existing NinjaOne applications, that repository that will, of course, work on servers as well as Mac OS devices. And then from here, I can go ahead and perhaps find a particular patch like so, and then go ahead and approve it. This whole process hasn't changed at all. What has changed is just the massive repository from WinGet that you do have now. So there's one feature. Let's go ahead. Yes, that's a good call out. Thank you very much for that, Robert. Google Chrome, another good example there. We have tried to take out duplicates so that there is one source rather than having multiple sources and you're not sure which one you want to utilize. So anything using the NinjaOne source, I think we have removed from the WinGet repository, but you, of course, have every other application within WinGet and you're able to leverage that. And I should also mention this isn't a native functionality or anything really particularly new. But we do have the template library, which allows you to leverage not just WinGet, where you would have to run it as the current logged on user. We also have Chocolatey as well, a completely different package manager if you wanted to take advantage of that. Typically, WinGet does have the limitation of running in a current user context. I'll note that on ours, we are running a system. So your endpoints, if they're not logged in, there's no limitation there on being able to patch with NinjaOne's WinGet integration. We're running a system, so we're able to patch whether somebody's logged in or not logged in. So there we have the WinGet integration. Let's go ahead and talk about vulnerability next. This is going to be inside of the apps exchange. This is an open beta, so again, reach out to your account manager and tell them you'd like to take advantage of this if they um, if it's not enabled already for you. We can go ahead and create a scan group here. You will need to select your vendor. I think in my case, this is a example from Tenable. So we'll go ahead and select Tenable right here, and I can enter a name. Now, if I go in here, this is an Excel spreadsheet that is, I think, originally from Tenable. So it's in their format. You can see up here the column headers, or table headers, I should say. This will be very important. And this is where we're taking this information and importing it so we can display an indicator on the NinjaOne dashboard that there are vulnerabilities present. These vulnerabilities here, these are made up. I asked ChatGPT to make this for me. And then I just put I put the IP address for my target device right here. And so as it gets imported in Ninja, it places an indicator on the dashboard showing these vulnerabilities. And what this looks like in practice, if I exit out of the setup portion, is right here. We can see on the main dashboard that we have critical and medium and low vulnerabilities displayed as a new line item inside the device health column. If I click on that, I can see the device in question right here. And then I'll actually see all those vulnerabilities right here as well. And so I can navigate to the vulnerabilities tab right here for the individual device. And I'll see all those vulnerabilities here. I have limited to just critical. So if I take that filter away, I can see every single vulnerability that has been detected right here. I got my money's worth. I got every vulnerability I possibly could in here. And if we go to the main dashboard again and then look at the vulnerabilities tab from the system level, we get the view of all our devices that might have vulnerabilities. Granted, I've only put in one in this particular environment. Now, this is something that does rely on recurring imports. So this would identify that these vulnerabilities have been detected by your third-party source. We now have an indicator inside of Ninja of where they're present. However, after you remediate, you are going to need to rescan through your third-party tool and then re-import that CSV. Again, this is a beta. I understand that's a very convoluted workflow, or at least it adds additional steps. So please make sure you share with your account manager that you'd love to see an API endpoint that would allow you to automate this without having to re-import a CSV all the time. We'd love to hear that feedback. Last thing I'll talk about, my third feature, what is only supposed to be one feature that I show. Not sure if we support that one. I'll have to look at see what we support, Michael, if we use the integrated EDR. But it would have to be an export as well. It wouldn't be something that you would see inside of Ninja natively. We're going off the CSV, so you'd have to remove that vulnerability from the CSV, but there's nothing natively in Ninja yet that would do that. But that's, again, great feedback to provide to PM. Last bit to talk about here would be the warranty tracking. Now, this is something you can manually set on devices. This is something you can manually set on devices. However, we also have the ability on Dell devices with this new beta to programmatically, automatically pull in the warranty dates. So right here, you can see my serial number and then the warranty date. This is all direct from the manufacturer. I didn't go ahead and import these manually or set these manually. This will sync every single Saturday, so you will have to wait a bit for it to sync natively. Of course, you can always come in here and manually sync with the manufacturer if you'd like. Technically, this is in a closed beta, and I think that is largely because we're only supporting a single manufacturer right now, which is Dell. We do have plans in our 6.0 release to bring out a couple other vendors. I think Lenovo is on there. I think HP is on there. There might be a couple other ones. So we do intend to expand this to try and capture as many vendors as we possibly can. But for now, it is closed beta. It is only Dell. I will say pretty much everybody is able to get into this. So even though it's a closed beta, reach out to your account manager. They can turn it on for you, and you can play around with it if you like. I guess those are my three features, but I have to confess what Luke has built with documentation is very cool. So I will give him a well-deserved victory.
Wow. Well, let's see though. You gotta let the people decide. So everyone
They
has
did. I lost.
But I mean, let's not forget, May the 4th, you had a clean sweep too of all 3 challenges. So look how the turntables, Luke, you are victorious here with at least 2, but let's find out about the 3rd one too. I want to know if you got a clean sweep here. And while we're waiting for votes to come in on those last 2, well, 1 versus 3 features, a few other questions came in comments that I want to make sure that we address. So let's go back first to the documentation exporting, Luke. Chris Thomas was asking about, can we import these things into IT Clue and Roost? Just want to make sure I'm getting this right. I'm just mentioning how they'd be basically dead in the water if IT Glue went out for them. So they're looking for redundancy for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Quick answer to. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We've opened up enough of the API to make it easy to pull everything out of IT Glue if someone wanted to do that. I did a script from IT Glue to Hoodoo, so it's open source. People could easily repurpose that for moving data into Ninja. I think someone will probably release something similar soon. So yeah, you'd easily be able to get your data into Ninja, and then the Ninja backup is just going to take a local copy, so you'll be able to access it wherever without needing anything, even if you haven't got an internet connection.
Awesome. Okay. A couple more. I see Gavin's already being quick to the punch here. Answered a question from David about any API access to the warranty field yet. And Gavin mentioned coming in 6.0. David, anything that you want to add there, or is that sufficient?
No, I think that's. I'm very glad to hear that's officially coming. So glad we have a date on that for 6.0. And yeah, that'll be very, very valuable.
Okay, so then thank you, Gavin. Okay, Julius had another question. Going back to the patching. So is there a way to run WinGet upgrade all auto update workstations?
It's under consideration at the moment. There's another one. If you look on product board on our roadmap, you should be able to vote for that feature. If not, reach out to your account managers. It's not planned at the moment, but is definitely being considered.
And so you brought up product board. We actually have a lot of links to product board. We actually have different ones for each one of the main products, whether it's ticketing, documentation, the mainline RMM, and backup. So rather than paste all those links in here, what I'm going to do is suggest anyone who's joining us who found us on YouTube or wherever and is not a member of the Discord yet, join the Discord. It is awesome. All these people who have been engaging in the chat are members of it. They're sharing things all the time. Luke and Jeff are both in there. Luke and Gavin, a lot of the PMs are very active. They're asking for feedback, giving access to beta things and testing opportunities. And so lots of good stuff there. And within Discord, you'll see how we direct people to a bunch of helpful resources, including those links to product board. So, I mean, we always want to build with participation from what you all want and need. And we want to make that easy. And so that's a great place to go get direct access to folks, see all the links where you can submit your ideas, see what other people are talking about too. All right, Robin, I don't know if we're ready yet for the final results. I'm eager to see. Oh, wow. Well, you got one, Jeff.
I got
one. It took 3. It took 3 new features versus the 1 there.
That just goes to show how good Luke's features are. You know, I'm fighting on a 3-to-1 ratio here.
But Luke, you still did win the day. So this was the product lead strikes back. You got a bit of redemption there. So congrats to that. Thank you everybody for voting. I want to make sure, let's go back to the chat here and see, are there any final questions that we can address while we're all here? and look at this. I mean, here we go, Michael. This is the good thing to hear. Of course, these are all cool new features.
The
And
good features, Brant.
and loads more to come. Well, cool. Well, we're right at the top of the hour. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Luke and Jeff, once again for taking your time to share all this. Thanks, everybody, for joining the stream. Let us know what else you want to see from us, what other fun things we can be doing. You are a fantastic community, and we appreciate you tons, and we hope that you all have a good day. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll see you soon.